Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the three B's. Now, I know some of you less enlightened folk out there will think that the three B's means Bach, Brahms, and Beethoven. No, it does not. For those of us in the know, we all know what it means. It means the Bonynge Ballet Box, which is even more the Bonynge Ballet Box when you turn it front ways. Look at that. Here it is. 46, yes, CDs. Yeah, 45 CDs, okay, of ballet music. Now, some of you may roll your eyes in disgust or make the sign of the cross or otherwise wear garlic to try and ward off the evil spirits that this music you may believe engenders, but I am not one of those. I think this is great stuff. I love this stuff. And I have to say, as a tribute to Richard Bonynge, I think this is just marvelous and richly deserved because he was a smart guy. I admire Richard Bonynge. He found a niche for himself, and aided in no small degree by his wife, who of course was Joan Sutherland, one of the great sopranos of the 20th century. He revived more music than any other human being in the 20th century. He really did. When you think of all of the bel canto masterpieces, the French romantic masterpieces like Massenet and that stuff that he did, it's absolutely fabulous. And in doing this, in association with his wife, he brought more joy to more people. And if that doesn't deserve a box, I don't know what does. Really, I mean, seriously, it's fantastic. Now, I understand ballet music has a reputation for being, well, balletic. In other words, it's dance music. It has to be danceable, which means it has to be rather simple in form. It has to be rather, shall we say, uniform in rhythm. And it's designed to keep things moving. It may not be the deepest and most profound stuff out there, but I will say this about it. It has no limits when it comes to orchestral color, when it comes to melody, when it comes to the fanciful exploitation of contrast. There are all kinds of fabulous things you can do with the ballet that you wouldn't dare do in a symphony or something like that, particularly as that form evolved throughout the 19th century. And so I think this music is wonderful, and I am thrilled to have this box because you can dip into it anywhere and find something that is absolutely joyous. And again, I mean, to say that something is merely entertaining is like a curse in the classical music world. I don't think there's any higher praise. I truly don't. That's why this stuff exists, to give us warmth and joy and solace and get our pulses moving and make us happy. And boy, does this stuff make us happy. And that's what Richard Bonynge did. So congratulations to you. You have earned this. So let's see what's inside, shall we? I'm really looking forward to this. This is so much fun. First of all, it's a beautifully put together box. It's like serious. It's sturdily constructed and nicely done. I mean, they didn't stint, and I think that really is important, frankly. And you get all the ballets in this wonderful. Let's see how they all line up in these nice albums. It's really nicely done. It really is. You get a very extensive booklet with all kinds of pictures and, you know, those sketchy things of dancers, like, you know, doing their dancey things. Yes. Okay. Yeah, enough of that. All right. Okay, let's start at the beginning, shall we? I'm just going to pull these suckers out, and we're going through them one at a time, as we always do, to uncover the riches within. First, let's see what we got. Oh, Adolphe Adam. You get Le Diable à Quatre. Now, you should know that title if you've been watching these videos. It means the devil to pay. It's that crazy opera comique story about the wizard or alchemist who forces a nasty chatelaine to switch roles with a mere peasant fishwife who's really very nice, and she's very obnoxious until the nasty, obnoxious chatelaine learns how to be kind, and then they switch back, and it all turns out happily ever after. The reason we brought this up is because Gluck wrote an opera comique on the same story, which Haydn used as the theme of the first movement of his 8th symphony, Le Soir. So we know Le Diable à Quatre, and here is the ballet version. There it is. Look at this. You get original covers. Isn't that great? So we get that. And then we get, let's see, the Prayer and the Sword by Franco Leone. Whoever the heck that was. Doesn't make any difference. Sounds lovely. Is that what it is? Yeah, the Prayer and the Sword, Franco Leone. Tiny print again. I need magnifying glass or something. Then we get 2 versions of Giselle, because Bonynge did it twice. It was his great love, I think, as a ballet conductor. It is a magnificent piece. One is with the Monte Carlo Opera Orchestra, and the other is the Covent Garden Orchestra. And they're both absolutely terrific. You can Giselle yourself to your heart's content. Then we get another Adam, Le Corsaire. I love Le Corsaire. This is terrific. This is with the English Chamber Orchestra. A wonderful ballet. And I really think, again, you listen to these things, you're going to find so many numbers that you just love. They're terrific. And yes, there's a certain sameness to them. But so what? You like Baroque music? Talk about sameness? Yeah, right? Huh? So what are we complaining about? Let's see, what's this? Marco Spada. Marco Spada is a wonderful ballet by Aubert. It is Aubert's only big opera. And I know this for a fact because I did a paper at the American Musicological Society. Actually, it was a fake paper. The topic was music and philosophy. And so in order to make that topic interesting, I presented Aubert's ballet version of Kant's The Critique of Pure Reason, one of the ballets philosophiques, a very minor niche in the French ballet world. And some of Marco Spada turned up in The Critique of Pure Reason, at least as I presented it. It went over very well, I assure you. Let's see, what's this one? More Aubert. This is the ballet music from Un Ballo in Mascara, which is, Gustave III, ou Le Bal Masqué, which Verdi, of course, later reused. One of the cool things about these plots is that, the opera people and the ballet people, when the ballet wasn't actually in the opera, as it was in this case, they were writing music for the same things. Sometimes the opera plot was a whole ballet. Sometimes there was a ballet inserted into the opera. So you get sort of the other side, the dance side of these wonderful theatrical pieces that we know from other places. And that's one of the things that makes this collection so fascinating. Let's see, what else do we get? And we get the Aubert Cello Concerto. My goodness, who knew that he wrote one? Orchestrated by Douglas somebody or other, Gamby. With Yasha Zilberstein cello of the Orchestral de la Suisse Romande. Thank goodness we get some of the original couplings, because Bonynge dug up a lot of really unusual repertoire that we wouldn't otherwise have known. Then we get Burgmüller's La Pairie. Remember the Ducat ballet, La Pairie? It's about a fairy. And there she is, La Pairie, all dressed up. The tutu was invented about this time. That was considered a scandal. That was a big deal, that ballerinas started appearing in these short little dressy things with their legs showing. I mean, that was very, very racy, and it got a lot of people going to the ballet, actually. And here we have Chopin Les Sylphides, which is by Roy Douglas, I think, right? Yes, he did the orchestrations for that. And then we get Omelette, Hamlet, which in French, of course, is Omelette, the ballet music to the opera by Ambroise Thomas, and the Verdi ballet music to Le Trouvière, Il Trovatore, which we talked about briefly in discussing Verdi's ballet music, which was the subject of another video. So you see, we were already doing ballet stuff. And let's see, what's this one? Wait a minute. Are we doing this in the right order? I think we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we definitely are. Okay. And let's see this one. Okay. Coppelia. Now we're with Delibes. I love Delibes. Tchaikovsky loved Delibes. Delibes was a first-class composer. His orchestration was stunning. His handling of rhythm and melody was just entrancing. He was great. Tchaikovsky loved Delibes. And if Tchaikovsky loved Delibes, you know he was a great ballet composer, because nobody was greater than Tchaikovsky. But Coppelia, and then, of course, the other one, which is here. Oh, we get Coppelia twice, too. We have two Coppelias. And then we get Sylvia. Oh, I love Sylvia. Sylvia has those huntresses running around. Bum bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum ba dum. Oh, it's so great. It's just so great. My God, it's gorgeous. Sylvia. We love Sylvia. Never mind the fact that I have a very good friend named Sylvia. I had an aunt named Sylvia. You got to have Sylvia. Let's see. And now we have Bonynge conducting Massenet orchestral works. And I'm going to do a whole talk on the Massenet orchestral works. That's coming up, folks. And by the time you see this in the year 2375, it will already exist, so you can look at it. But anyway, this has the scène Alsacien, the scène something or others. I can read this. Oh, scène dramatique. The scène dramatique. These are great. These are his orchestral suites. And the March of the Princesses from Cinderella, and the Fantasy in D for cello and orchestra. You know, you're not going to find this stuff everywhere. And it is beautiful, beautiful music. Rich in melody, in color, in interest. It's even formally shapely. I mean, you know, so it's not going to, you know, stick you into some sort of, you know, rapturous sort of euphoria of nirvana-like self-abnegation. It's far more Epicurean than that, and good for it. Fabulous. Okay, so that's that pile. Let's see, what's this pile? We're already up to CD 19, and this is Massenet's Cigale. Ooh, yes, and the Valse Très Lente, and the ballet music from Le Cid, which is wonderful and like Spanish-like, and the Lamento de Ariane from the opera Ariane. How appropriate. Now, more Massenet, one of the most underrated composers in the entire universe. It was Bonynge who dug up and got Joan Sutherland to sing the title role in Esclarmonde, which is a knockout of an opera. Unfortunately, it died with Joan Sutherland. Nobody seems to want to do it. It was that role written for Sybil Sanderson, and it's got thrilling music and a ridiculous plot, and it's so much fun. And the opera, you know, it's got the national anthem of Byzantium, you know, O divine Esclarmonde. No, never mind. You get the idea. It's fantastic. Thank you to Richard Bonynge for reintroducing the world to this music and making Decca record it. So thank God there's a record, so we can go back and listen to it. And when the right voices come along, and the right people come along, it may get revived again. But at least now we'll know what we're in for and what it sounded like. And this is Massenet's Manon Ballet, which is based on, like, the opera. It was arranged and orchestrated by a bunch of people we don't need to go into. And what's this thing? Oh, and Le Carillon, the ballet in one act. This is gorgeous, too. Oh, I love this stuff. What can I tell you? It's so beautiful. And, you know, I got to say something else here. You know, Bonynge, even when I was like in college and we were talking about these things, was getting crapped on because, you know, knowing people said he really didn't know how to conduct. He was learning how to conduct. I got news for you. He was conducting since the 60s, the early 60s. And conductors don't know how to conduct either. Everyone needs to have experience, whether it's Richard Bonynge or anyone else. He's just as fine and discerning a musician as those conductors, and he's a lot smarter than most of them because he did the music, he discovered the music, he dug it out, he edited it, he put it together, he marked the parts. It was his endeavor. So he didn't conduct it unless he wanted to conduct it, and he got Joan Sutherland to sing a lot of it too. So, you know, I don't tolerate the nonsense. And listening to these performances again, I'm constantly struck by just how richly theatrical and enjoyable they really are. There's no slipshod ensemble or indication of some sort of, hesitancy or soft-edged, sort of vague incompetence here at all. Bonynge knows what he wants. He knows what he's doing. He knows what the dancers are supposed to be doing. He's able to imagine and project that through the music. He truly is. And if you haven't heard this, then you don't know. And this we get, let's see, Weber, Invitation to the Dance. Berlioz, the ballet music from Les Troyens, which is lots of fun. And let's see, we get Lecoq, Mademoiselle Angot. Lecoq was a major composer of opera comique. I mean, if you look at the rosters of late 19th century theaters, opera theaters and productions, you will find that Lecoq is right up there with Offenbach and Rossini and all the classics, the most popular classics. And he wrote deliciously fizzy music. It's wonderful. So there's that. Then we get, let's see, what's this one? Oh, Messager. Messager was also a first-class composer, truly a first-class composer. And Les Deux Pigeons, the two pigeons, is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, if you are a Classics Today insider, you can hear a sample of this over there. This is wonderful, wonderful music. From first note to last. It ought to be played like Daphnis and Chloe gets played. It's just delightful. And it's like a single disc. It lasts, I don't know how long, an hour or so. I mean, it's perfect. It's in 2 acts. Just wonderful. Messager's Symphony in A is delightful. It's an early work. It's charming. And, otherwise, someone's got to start digging out some more of his orchestral music. He did, it was all done in association mostly with his operas. He did operas and opera comique. But boy, was he a good composer. Serious composer. I mean, serious in terms of craftsmanship and quality. He really was. And we get, let's see, Minkus and Delibes, La Source, and Drigo's The Magic Flute. Well, we know those stories, don't we? We know the Magic Flute anyway. And Drigo was the guy who messed around with Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake and sort of put together the edition of that. Let me move this over here because it's going to fall over. That we're most used to hearing. We were most used to hearing until Dorati started doing the complete one on like Mercury Living Presence, and the rest was history when it came to Tchaikovsky. And then we get, the Minkus, Lanchberry, Le Bayadere. Okay. Well, here I have to register a little note of disappointment or querulousness because I do not generally like Lanchberry's arrangements of this music. Lanchberry thought that, adding a harp glissando and a glockenspiel part was all you needed to do to make the music entertaining. And I think it was just tacky. If ballet music risks being tacky, then Lanchberry's arrangements sort of made it so. And I think that's kind of a shame. I would much rather hear the original, what Minkus actually wrote in his own way. But I have to tell you, I had a rather sorry Bayadere experience in my youth. I was arranged to go on a blind date by my grandmother's first cousin, who was still with us, thank God. It was a delightful person. I love her dearly. She thought it would be fun. She had tickets to the ballet, and she said, I'll give them to you. You're going to take this person. Well, the person in question turned out to be just about the most boring and miserable human being that I ever met in my life, but she loved the ballet. And doing the Bayadere was the American Ballet Theater at Lincoln Center were Gelsey Kirkland and Patrick Bissell. Now, Gelsey Kirkland, you may recall, wrote that book, Dancing on My Grave, about drug use, in the ballet world, in the American Ballet Theater particularly. And Patrick Bissell later died of a drug overdose. And we saw this ballet. And, of course, Gelsey Kirkland was the Bayadere. This was before all of that dirt came to light. And she came whizzing out on stage. I mean, she was, like, on point in a way that was... I don't know, I think maybe 2 atoms of her toe ever came in contact with the floor. And I took one look at my miserable companion and I said to her, she's on something. She is high. Let me tell you, nobody can do that unless they're getting a chemical assist. Well, turns out, I guess I was right. Although, of course, whether she was high on the night, I have no idea. And he passed away shortly thereafter. But La Bayadere, I mean, the story is Lacme. It's the one with the cute little water carrier, temple Hindu priestess girl who's loved by a prince who just killed a tiger, and the high priest also wants her, and everyone wants her, and they all dance a lot. I mean, there's an adagio in Le Bayadere which made me crazy because it goes on forever. Absolutely goes on. One ballerina after another comes out. They're all identically dressed, and it takes like half an hour, it seems, before they all get on stage and they do their thing. And the thing about corps de ballet movements in classical ballet is, obsessive compulsive that I am, it makes me crazy when everything is not perfectly synchronized. And nothing is ever perfect, is it? There's always one who's just a little bit out of sync, and it makes me nuts because I can't take my eyes off of them. And anyway, Le Bayadere, I can't deal with it. It's a personal thing. And now, we get Offenbach's Le Papillon ballet in 3 acts. Now, we all love Offenbach. He is absolutely delicious, as we know. And then there's this one. The Johann Strauss, Cinderella, and the ballet music from Richard Bonynge. This was an early Decca digital. Remember this? It was Johann Strauss Jr.'s only ballet. He died before completing it, and it was later sort of trimmed up. But it's very, very good. I think Mahler conducted the premiere or something like that. It was done in Mahler's Vienna. And that was very, very nice to have. And I'm very happy to see that coming back because I got that when it first came out and I really enjoyed it then. Now, let's see. This is the last pile. We're already at disc 31. We're just cruising. The Tchaikovsky ballets. The Nutcracker. Swan Lake. Sleeping Beauty. Now, everyone does the Tchaikovsky ballets. Everybody will have their favorite performances. And Bonynge himself has been full of humility in talking about these performances because he knows he's up against really heavy-duty competition. And all I can say is he holds his own. These are not my favorite performances of the Tchaikovsky ballets. Like I said, I've done a video about them. I think, the Slatkin recordings most of all, if you're going to get them all in a box. But again, these are very vivid performances. They are theatrical. They are very free in tempo. It's very exciting. If you listen to the closing scene, for example, in Swan Lake, there's a lot going on that brings to mind stuff happening on stage. They are not stand-back concert readings. They're theatrical readings. I really believe that. I think Bonynge knows where you're supposed to inject the drama, and that he brings to these interpretations. And for that reason, I think they're well worth hearing. I truly do. Then the rest of these, the rest of these are all sort of gala CDs. They're ballet excerpts from works that don't get performed, but that ballet people tend to know and will probably never hear. There's The Art of the Prima Ballerina. There's the Homage to Pavlova, which is like long. And then there's, let's see, what's this? We get Les Patineurs by whatever his name was, Meyerbeer or whoever did that. And we get, ballet music in entr'actes from French opera. And then we get Ballet Gala 1 and 2, which is Minkus, Puccini, Offenbach, Drigo, Aubert, Scarlatti, and Ambroise Thomas. And that, my friends, is one hell of a ballet collection. It's really extraordinary. It's absolutely fabulous. And I'm going to put these things away in their wonderful little box here and conclude this little chat by telling you in no uncertain terms that you should have this. If you like interesting and unusual repertoire, you just can't keep buying post-Brucknerian symphonies and pseudo-profound bits of German expressionist horror. There has to be room in your life for melody, for color, for rhythm, for all of the joy and beauty that this music brings. And once again, just some gratitude to Richard Bonynge for having done it so well, so successfully, and for getting a record label willing to record it and preserve it for us, and now present it to us in this terrific tribute. He's 90 now, and as we say in Yiddish, he should live to 120. He really should. It's just fantastic stuff. So keep on listening, folks. You owe it to yourself to hear this. Take care.